Namaskar and thank you for joining us here on the special G20 program. And we bring you updates from the Anti-Corruption Working Group meeting in Kolkata and from the G20 Film Festival that starts tomorrow in Delhi. But our top story, Kolkata, a city that holds culture and tradition close to its heart. It's hosting the third ACWG, that's the Anti-Corruption Ministers meeting as well. Delegates and ministers are engaged in discussions that aim to provide further impetus to the G20 agenda of bolstering the international fight against corruption. So what's happening is that the agenda today, it discussed the importance of international cooperation to tackle corruption and also put forward robust principles to achieve the same. The meeting also focused on the drafting of a ministerial communique and showcasing a strong resolve to lead by example in the global battle against corruption. The G20 India delegates on day one, they deliberated on finalizing the anti-corruption ministerial outcome and setting a comprehensive and holistic anti-corruption agenda. Okay, before we move on to our next story, there's a video that I want to show you. It's by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Well, now, as you saw this video, you know that it's all in your hands and you have a choice in acting against corruption. Taking a look at the updates from today, the anti-corruption practitioners, experts and academics, they convened a roundtable discussion on the measurement of corruption in Kolkata. And you just saw a video by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. And now you know why the deliberations today at the G20 anti-corruption meeting. It's co-organized by the UNODC. The meeting, in fact, it focused on advancing efforts towards improving the collection as well as the analysis of data on corruption and how individuals can make intelligent choices to avoid corruption. So with the help of a few graphics now, let me try and explain to you what's actually happening at the G20 Anti-Corruption Group. It's the third and final meeting, and it's happening between 9th and 11th. It's happening in Kolkata. And among the things that they're talking about is the extradition of fugitive economic offenders, the recovery of assets from foreign jurisdictions. And also, we know that over 154 delegates from the G20 member countries and 10 invitee countries, they are also participating in this. And the G20 anti-corruption ministerial meeting is to happen on the 12th of August. So this is like a two-day meeting before that. And then on the 12th, the ministers are meeting. So political impetus is important as well to bring about this combat against corruption in a sense. And it has a 9-point agenda, and that is actually was presented by Prime Minister Narendra Modi way back in 2018. It's action against the fugitive economic offenders and asset recovery. These are the two main pillars on which these 9 points focus on. And the first two meetings had taken place in Gurugram and Rishikesh under India's presidency. They're looking for pragmatic and action-oriented commitments. These are towards prevention, detection, investigation and prosecution of the corruption offences. They're also looking at strengthening the domestic anti-corruption institutional frameworks and extradition of the economic offenders, as I said, fugitive economic offenders, and the recovery of assets. Because what actually these people do is that they go and they take flight in some other country and then find those countries as safe havens. So this is the way to go about it, by finding high-level principles on promoting integrity and effectiveness, by providing a guiding framework for strengthening the independence, transparency and accountability also of these institutions, and addressing the root cause of a corruption, including at the institutional level as well as because there's a lack of accountability. Why is there corruption? Because people can get away with it. That's what people think. Now, the high-level principles will establish a robust and effective framework. It's going to lead to an expeditious recovery of the proceeds of these crimes, which is corruption, and it's going to deter economic offenders from seeking refuge in these foreign jurisdictions that allow them tax havens, or havens in a sense, for these people who are fleeing. There's a 6-point plan to enhance the interagency cooperation and international cooperation, and it focuses on the role of audit institutions as well in tackling corruption, and it also adopts a gender-sensitive and gender-responsive approach in the strategies, because that's also important to look at this sensitively. To also enable the exchange of valuable insights and best practices. That's what's happening right now before the ministers meet on the 12th. They are looking at the best practices, and the discussions are going to feed into this anti-corruption ministerial meeting on the 12th, and then you'll have the communique. So in the anti-corruption working group meeting today, Federico Salas, who's the Mexican ambassador to India, he participated in a panel on the measurement of corruption, and he shared the Mexican experience in generating measurement tools as corruption undermines the rules, the rule of law, also the achievement of the UN SDGs, and deliberations also, they covered the fundamental elaboration of public policies. Okay, we're going to take a short break now. Do stay with us. You're watching our program on the G20.
G20 नए विचारों की परिकल्पना के लिए और सामूहिक एक्शन को गति देने के लिए एक ग्लोबल प्राइम मूवर की तरह काम करें। वैश्विक विकास महिलाओं की भागीदारी के बिना संभव नहीं है। भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की थीम वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर में पूर्ण रूप से समाहित है।
Welcome back. And with many events taking place in the run-up to the G20 summit in New Delhi, that's happening next month, the India Habitat Center in Delhi is going to be hosting the IHC G20 Film Festival. The rich culture of the G20 member countries will be showcased through a flavor of their cinema at this film festival. The lineup of the films that are being screened, these include 5 acclaimed feature films, 1 animation film, and 4 documentaries, and there's a package of 8 short films which will be screened from 10 G20 member countries. The G20 Sherpa of India, Amitabh Kant, will inaugurate the festival. It kicks off with the screening of India's Oscar glory, RRR. And the much acclaimed Khan nominee, Decision to Leave from the Republic of Korea, will also be the closing film. That's going to be on the 18th of August. And my colleague Vishal Barristow knows a little one or two things about this, and let's turn to him and ask him about what we can expect. Vishal, what are some of the main movies that we are likely to see?
Well, a very good evening to you, Mark. There is not one or two things, but I can tell you some more and a lot of interesting things. Now, the whole week is lined up with a lot of many interesting things. As we all know that RRR did India proud, and RRR was the first Indian feature film to get an Oscar, and that was also for an original music, original song, and that was quite a moment for all of Indians to rejoice, because there were movies like Black Panther, Top Gun, Maverick, and RRR defeated both the films and won its first Oscar. Now, let me tell you the schedule. It is first of all, let me tell you about the film. As we all know that the film goes back to the time of 1920. It was just after the First World War had ended, and it's a fictitious movie, but it talks about a revolutionary and also an army officer and how they both get together against the British Raj. But the dance Natu Natu was quite a rage, which also means its translation is wild and native. Now, apart from that, there are a lot many other interesting things. This would be the screening of RRR would be in the Stein Auditorium, both in Hindi and Telugu. And other thing is talk show, and it would be Mirror Mirror on the Wall. What is prettiness? Now, we all know that beauty is skin deep, but that there are a lot many people who go into depression as they age, or they are not happy, or they become victim of body shaming. So this is quite an interesting topic, and the speaker would be Nana Sharma. She is a consultant clinical psychologist from Wim Hans, and this would be followed by a book launch and discussion. It talks about something that tickle your taste buds, digesting India, travel writers, subcontinental adventures with the tummy, a memoir of Kolkata. And other things are also very interesting. This would be the food thing would be in Gulmohar Auditorium, also in India Habitat. And then you'll have Yatrik, the Traveler, a solo painting exhibition by Alka Brushundi. So, Mark, there are some more interesting things. So I would like our viewers also to take a note of it, because you can have this entry is free, so you can go and enjoy. As India has always believed, and the motto of G20 also says that one earth, one family, one future. And there is one exhibition also which talks about consumers, India, and team presents painting selected from Preserve Nature, Breathe Clean Air, and Stay Healthy. So these are the films, the film and different things that are going to happen. And on the 12th, there is a Canadian film, and it is made by the NRIs. It is in both Punjabi and Hindi, and it is called Water Be Damned. So the whole week is lined up with a lot of many good things, and you'll be having best of G20, as you just inform our viewers. 5 feature films, 1 animation, 4 documentaries, and 8 short films all lined up. So I hope you and I also get a chance to go there and have a lovely evening.
I hope so too, Vishal. But you know, we've been looking at the G20 events in India and how they have been promoting cultural cooperation, because a lot of culture is, I mean, India's rich, vibrant culture is always on display. So in that context, you know, how do you look at this particular thing also, because it's very definitely showing a unique form of culture, which is films?
Well, absolutely. Film is the best medium if you want to promote your culture, Mark. Recently, I was on a trip to Egypt. I was covering the Prime Minister, and Indian movies are very much popular there. And there is a theater there that runs 3 shows all on Hindi films, Bollywood movies. And as we know that Bollywood movies have always been doing very well, especially in the Central Asia and also in Africa. And to be very honest, in the global South, Indian movies are having a very big audience. So to showcase your culture, to showcase your food and what you eat, how you dress, this is the best platform. Not only the movies but also the talk shows and the book launch and the painting exhibition, because India is the world in itself. It is countries within country. There are a lot many different cultures, and
Right.
diversity is the uniqueness of the country and also the beauty of our nation. And that is why India, which is
Yes.
also known as the mother of democracy, is showcasing its best, as it also would be presiding the G20 and is the president of the G20, and September would be the grand finale.
Yes,
Mark?
indeed, Vishal. So you told us a little bit about how popular the medium of film is in bringing communities together. But when we look also at the beautiful destinations for shooting movies, and there's a lot of collaboration that can take place also in terms of editing and final production of the movies. So here too, I mean, the G20 countries can see there's plenty that they can share.
Well, absolutely. Right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, India is full of destinations, and Kashmir now has become a hot destination for the Hollywood movies as well. Indian movies have always been shot there, and it's got beautiful scenery. But it is not only Kashmir, but the whole of Himalayan ranges, Kashmir, Uttarakhand. Then you come to Himachal, and then you go in the eastern side where you have the northeast and also Darjeeling, which is there in West Bengal. And then you come to the deserts of Rajasthan, because India is the only country where you get all you want, from the snow peaks of Himalayas to the deserts of Rajasthan, to the sea
Yes.
line, I
Yes.
beg your pardon, the coastal line till from Gujarat to, you go down to Kanyakumari, and then you go towards the Bay of Bengal. So you get everything: forest, water, snow, what all you need, and the desert as well.
Indeed, and we've been showing you visuals also about all that rich beauty that you've just been talking about as you were speaking. Thanks very much, Vishal Barristow, for joining us and putting this into context, and looking forward to reports coming in from the film festival from tomorrow. Now, our next story is about the Health and Welfare Minister of India, Mansukh Mandavia, inaugurating the third, I beg your pardon, he's inaugurated the curtain raiser of the India MedTech Expo 2023 in New Delhi. This is the first ever expo organized in Gandhinagar alongside the G20 Health Ministers meet to highlight the capabilities of the Indian medical devices sector under the G20 presidency of India. The Department of Pharmaceuticals, the Government of India, it's organizing the first edition of the India MedTech Expo on medical devices. And the Federation of Indian Commerce in Industry is the industry partner for the expo. Speaking on the occasion, the Indian Health Minister said that the Indian medical device industry, it has the power to emerge as a global leader in manufacturing and innovation in the next 25 years. India's MedTech Expo is set to be a highlight at the G20 India Health Ministers meeting. It's happening in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. It's happening from the 17th to the 19th of August, focusing on the showcase of the evolving technologies. That's going to be the showcase. It's going to be the key highlight, in fact, of this event, which will give inputs, or talk about three pillars actually of knowledge, experience, and networking. The event's going to create the visibility of the medical devices ecosystem of India. It's going to help identify the brand of India in the Indian medtech sector. India already is the pharmacy of the world, as we know. Now, the Indian Health Minister, while addressing the media at the India MedTech Expo curtain raiser today, this is happening in New Delhi, he said that India envisions evolving from the pharmacy of the world to the factory of the world as well. Let's listen.
हमें हेल्थ सेक्टर को सुदृढ़ करना है तो फार्मा सेक्टर साथ में ही है. हम फार्मेसी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड है. हम फार्मेसी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड से फैक्ट्री ऑफ द वर्ल्ड बनना चाहते हैं. उसके लिए 2047 का विजन भी गवर्नमेंट ने ऑलरेडी बना लिया है, मिनिस्ट्री ने ऑलरेडी बना लिया है. 5 साल में हमें क्या करना है, 10 साल में हमें क्या करना है, 2030 में हमें कहां पहुंचना है. मेडिकल डिवाइस सेक्टर में आज 11 बिलियन डॉलर से हमें 30 बिलियन डॉलर तक पहुंचना है।
India's immunization program, launched in 1985, is one of the largest health programs of its kind in the world. It caters to the birth cohort of 27 million children annually. So the program, what does it do? It provides vaccination against 8 life-threatening diseases. These are diphtheria, whooping cough, hemophilia, influenza type B, that is, which causes pneumonia and meningitis, tetanus, polio, tuberculosis, measles and hepatitis B in the entire country. It's aligned with India's G20 priorities of health emergencies prevention, preparedness and also response. Intensified mission Indradhanush 5.0 is being conducted across the country and is achieving 100% coverage of immunization.
Attention, attention, all the ladies and gentlemen. This is to remind you all about the importance of immunization. If your kids are 5 or less who have missed a vaccine, hear this appeal. Getting them vaccinated immediately is the key. For their safety and health, it is a wise request. Protecting them from illness to be their best. And remember, vaccination is safe and it saves your children from deadly diseases. So, see you at the vaccination center soon.
And another update now from all the campaigns that are being held under India's G20 presidency. Now the Urban 20 or the U20 is a city diplomacy initiative. It comprises cities from the G20 countries. It strives to establish a lasting practice of engagement among the cities to develop a collective message. It emphasizes on the role of cities in taking forward the sustainable development agenda. Under this, the individual household latrines, they strongly emphasize cleanliness as well as sanitation. Embracing this concept, it not only ensures hygienic living spaces, it also fosters a healthier society. Here's a video that encapsulates all this. And the clock is ticking. There are only 8 days left for the epic Y20 India Summit unfolding in Varanasi. And before we end this bulletin, let's talk a little bit about the G20 event on youth, the Y20 India Summit in 2023. It's going to be a huge opportunity for the global youth to reflect on the priority areas that suggest policy recommendations for consultations with the G20 member states. Varanasi in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh is going to be hosting this Y20 or the Youth 20 Summit, and this is happening from the 16th of this month. Take a look at this short video.
You are in Banaras. Start your day with Subah Banaras. As you soak in the blissful 4 a.m. sunrise at the Asi Ghat, begin your pursuit of liberation at the Sri Kashi Vishwanath Temple. Walk into the serene and lose yourself in the beauty of the divine. Transcend through the colorful lanes. Experience the calmness of the bustle. Seek the sermons of Buddha as you go. Dhamik Stupa is the place to be. As the day comes to an end, witness the Ganga Aarti, rooted deep into our traditions, yet brimming with modernity. Enlighten your mind in the world's oldest city, Varanasi.
Looks like a special event. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.